halifikidao, tuko kwa Twitter tunajibizana, tujiangalie, tuko mabaya leo kuliko jana, ziba ufa tutatenda mchezo, tusake zetu tunalipigana.
You're now listening to the best music. 1 hour of the hottest tracks and coolest mashups of the moment.
Na revelation inatuambia hii generation inachoma picha, hii generation yetu flow, tujiangalie, tuko papaya leo kuliko jana, sikio la kufa halifikidawa, tuko kwa Twitter tunajibizana, tujiangalie, tuko papaya leo kuliko jana, ziba ufa tutajenga kuta, tusake zetu tungali vijana. Mishuki alisema tufungeni mikanda, ona leo twavuna tulichopanda, kura zetu zilitugawanya, makabila na pesa pia tulimanga. So when you make your bed, usingizi gani tumelala, tutajua tujui, Vision 2030 tabaki ni story, tujiangalie, tuko kabaya leo kuliko jana, sikio la kufa halisikidawa, tuko kwa Twitter tunajibizana, tujiangalie, tuko kabaya leo kuliko jana, tusipoziba ufa tuta.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk with Iriton on the Black Hot Fire Radio Network, Meteor of the 21st Century. I hope you're having a very productive day. It's literally a day of liberation as the protests are outside, as basically all Kenyans worldwide are protesting for a better government. Welcome again to the Black Hot Fire Radio Network, Meteor of the 21st Century. My name is Iriton Lunguria on Let's Pop with Iriton, where we're always talking about redefining Africa as we redefine ourselves. Before we actually move on with more conversation, we do have the Communication Authority that has ordered all TV and radio stations to halt coverage of the ongoing June 25th anniversary protest. That's actually what's happening right now. The Communications Authority has ordered all TV and radio stations to halt coverage of the ongoing June 25th anniversary protest. Once again, welcome as you basically download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackhotfireradionetwork.com for amazing healthy supplements, apparel clothing with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on it for more amazing updates and basically everything to do with redefining Africa. I can actually hear right now, I don't know if this literally they're shooting guns right now outside near our studio, but that's what's really happening. But also, we do have one person that has reportedly been shot dead and several other injured in Matthew Town, that's Machakos County, amid ongoing protests to commemorate the June 2024 protest victims. And also we do have from Kiambu Town, youth were seen streaming onto the main Kiambu Road, making their way to Nairobi to demonstrate in regards to what's happening. But welcome again, family. Remember, you can basically join us and invite more other people to basically listening to amazing conversation here on the Black Hot Fire Radio Network. It's their awakening. It's the revolution, and it starts with us. We were chosen in this particular generation to actually pave way for better, for redefining our identity, for actually having Pan-Africanists as leaders. I'll definitely share few videos of what's really going on here in the 254 Nairobi, Kenya. But the main topic of the day is basically the June 25th aftermath in regards to what happened last year on this very day, and also globalization and our African culture. The question is, has globalization tarnished our African culture? That's a question of the conversation right here on the Black Hot Fire Radio Network. And I can say yes and no because if you allow it, yes, because literally you'll go with what's really happening in regards to what globalization means, understanding actually that actually it's a word that should be an African term because it all started in Africa, civilization and everything. We talk about development technology literally originated from Africa, but it should definitely not tarnish our African culture. I can say actually it's not tarnishing, but a lot of Africans have adapted the European identity, the European mindset, or the way they do life, which actually comes down to the fact that what they're actually doing is what they stole from us. I hope you're following what I'm saying. Like their way of living, everything that they say they are right now, it's because they've actually stolen a lot. Not even a lot. Everything to do with the African identity, African cultures, African traditions. Even we do have super major companies in the United States of America, fashion industry, literally stole our African symbols, mostly the African symbol for wealth. That is an African symbol that Gucci uses for their brand. If you research, you'll definitely know like everything that you actually try to embody defines who you are as an African. But once again, thank you for everybody joining me. Peter Quach, I see with Desmond. Thank you for joining me live on TikTok. My name is Iriton Longoria on Let's Pop with Iriton, where I'm always talking about redefining Africa as we redefine ourselves because we are the change you need to see in the world. And it's always a great time to be alive as you download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackhotfireradionetwork.com. Before I move forward with a conversation of what really happened or the question of our African cultures being erased by globalization, which literally started in Africa. And also, we're going to go back to the Kenyan's Gen Z protests. This in regards to what really happened a few days ago and also the aftermath of it. But before that, kindly let's listen in to the health and benefits of some of the supplements we do have for you to give you an understanding of what you should definitely be expecting as you're downloading our app and checking out our amazing supplement. Fun fact is the beetroot that we do have on our website, or the beetroot you can actually order for yourself, will definitely naturally help you with losing weight. It's a fact. You can literally Google that.
Beetroot, nature's powerhouse. Packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and nitrates, it's known to support heart health, boost stamina, and improve blood circulation. Our beetroot is naturally grown and harvested at peak ripeness. The roots are cleaned, dried, and finely ground to preserve their rich nutrition content, giving you all the benefits in one pure form. Add 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder to your juice, smoothie, or water, or take it in capsule form as recommended by your healthcare provider. Beetroot helps enhance endurance, lower blood pressure, and keep you feeling energized and balanced all day. Fuel your body with the natural power of beetroot. Stay strong, stay healthy. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Or only $20.90, super affordable, right? Welcome, DJ Sia, Mora. I can see a lot of people actually joining me live on TikTok. I hope you're having a super liberating day, as it should be. Another conversation about the aftermath of June 25th. That is basically an anniversary of what really happened last year during the finance bill. And actually, it's actually happening right now in regards to impeaching the president that we do have, because there's nothing fundamental that we can actually attest to it that he's actually done since he has been in power. Also, talking about that, we do have a conversation about the fact that a lot of Kenyans actually are actually a bit hot in regards to the fact that we do have the late Albert Ojwang's family, that we saw the president saying that he's going to actually donate an amount of money, 3-bedroom house, but also he came out and said he actually did not receive any amount of money. That's what these politicians actually say in the public, but also do not do anything to actually follow on their promises because they can't. African Stoic, how you're doing? Thank you for the gift. I'm gonna share a video here in regards to what's really happened after we did have one of our heroes who actually passed away because allegedly they said he knocked his head in the cell, which was literally a lie. We did have the CCTVs at Mbagathi Hospital showcasing that he was actually brought in dead. We saw that. And it's because he was actually beaten up with the he was beaten up by the prisoners. He was actually given one of the junior police officers was actually given orders to tell some of the prisoners where the late Albert Ojwang was taken to actually beat him up. It actually shows that this is something that always happens. But remember, I talked about triggered. We all did have the trigger that happened last year during the finance bill, right? And now this happened and actually brought or basically stirred up a lot of anger in regards to the fact that we do not have better leaders, something we do know, literally know, and people are super tired. Before I share the videos of what's really happening on the ground, let's listen into some of the activists. We definitely do know the activists that we do know here in the 254 Nairobi, Kenya, talking about the aftermath of the protests. I'm going to share this video right away as we move on to the next conversation on Let's Pop with Ayrton.
This week on the 77% Street Debate.
I have been to mortuaries, to funerals. I have seen each and every family mourning and crying out for their child.
We live in fear. You have to be off mode. That is something we do not expect to happen in our country.
Our future is on the line. Our present is on the line. So we have to come and say we're not going to watch as you do whatever you want. Most of us didn't even know our MCAs, our MPs. But because of that finance bill, because of the protest, we're all involved.
Hello and welcome back to the 77% Street Debate. This week we are back in my hometown, Kenya's capital, Nairobi. And these streets were shaken on the 25th of June 2024 when young people angered by a controversial finance bill breached the gates of parliament. And a year later, we are here to ask if their demands were met, if they were indeed worth it. Well, who better to answer those questions for me than some fellow Kenyans? And before we even begin, let me just start by reading a temperature in the room here or outside. How many people attended the protest last year on 25th of June? Let's see by show of hands. So let's start with you, Hanifa, because you've sort of become post the protest, one of the faces of this movement. But before we continue, just give us a quick look at why the protest happened in the first place.
I think the finance bill was a catalyst. It was anger, bitterness simmered for years and years, inequality, corruption. It was just everything combined that blew up.
Yeah.
Finance bill was a catalyst, and I would like to term it as a youthquake.
A youthquake. So Hanifa describing it here as sort of the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. But Wanjera, I know you've been an activist for many years, and the issues that Hanifa is mentioning, they didn't start last year. So what is it that broke that camel's back?
I agree that it is water that has been boiling for a long time, and the finance bill was just, we've had enough. Now we've got to rise up and
Good afternoon to you, my seeker. How are you doing? Thank you, Tony Tagman, for also joining me right away here on Let's Walk with Ayrton. I hope you all are literally on this day protesting for a better government.
say that enough is enough. Young people of this country were rising up against bad leadership, corruption, the economic situation, the high cost of living, at the face of opulence, at the political class, at the face of we don't care, we're just going to do whatever we want. And young people are saying, no, our future is on the line, our present is on the line. So we have to come and say we are not going to watch as you do whatever you want. Well, our future deteriorates, well, our present is unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people came to the streets to assert the sovereignty of the Kenyan people.
Okay, so because we brought up the economy twice, let me come to the economist. Just give us some hard data. What was the state of the economy then, and how does it compare to the way things are now?
Well, I would say there's big tension that was there last year. The International Monetary Fund requesting Kenya to implement some items in its bill. the same tension still exists up to today. So there's really not so much that has changed. But what we notice now, what the government has been trying to do is to tone down the targeted tax areas that were affecting individuals to try and focus more on the corporate. But the challenge still remains because even if you target business, it's business that needs to give the youth jobs.
Okay, so you say that not much has changed, but the gentleman standing next to you might have a different opinion. Nathaniel, how would you rate the performance of the government between the time of the protests and now? Has much changed?
I want to applaud the young people because I'm a young person as well for coming out unanimously in large numbers to express what is constitutionally their right to question and be involved in the government. It is part of the Constitution of Kenya under Article 35 on the access of information that government should be able to give information for decision making. So secondly, I am not the person who is capacitated to rate government performance. Only the young people and the citizens can tell us how we are performing. And we will be able to know whether we are performing well or not in the next election and in the continuous process of engagement through the governance processes. For example, the budget making process, the Finance Bill 2025. So it is the people who need to tell us what we are doing and whether we are doing the correct thing or not.
Okay, so let me ask the people, do you think much has improved since 2024 in June? You know, the things that you were agitating for. Has the economy improved by show of hands? Yes? Has the state of politics improved? Let's see. Okay. Moses, you raised your hand here. You're a member of the clergy. You already have an opinion for me.
I wanted to take issue with the statement about waiting until 2027 for us to know just how well or how badly off the government has performed.
Okay, so 2027 for our global audience is when the next election of Kenya is slated.
Correct. And the reason I state that is because the financial process that we're talking about right here, the financial year, is an annual process. Therefore, we need to have an annual process of analysis for the government as to how well or how badly they perform.
I wonder what you think about that. You're a lawyer, but you underwent something very critical after the protest. We'll talk about that in a second. But do you think much has changed since those protests?
Not really. Nothing has changed. Maybe to the worst because we still see.
I definitely agree. It's like everything became worse after that, but also it is giving us a reason to actually have to understand that we don't really need a government like this, right?
The politicians dishing out money, especially the president and the deputy president, dishing millions of Kenya shillings in churches, and at the same time, going back to the political, or rather the tribal cocoons and mobilizing people through tribal lines. At the same time, we have had some of the things that we called out for, like changing the health funding system, and to date, nothing is actually working. At the same time, we don't have vaccines in the hospitals for newborns. So our newborns are not able to be vaccinated, yet the government is allocating 600 million Kenya shillings for MPs, but we don't have medicine in the hospitals. We do not have...
Because literally that's not their priority. We do have some politicians who actually joined the protest, the likes of Babu Owino who did that. We do have Kalonzo Musyoka who actually joined the protest. And also we do have the Chief Justice or the former Chief Justice, David Muraga, who actually joined the protest today at the CBD.
Allocation for, budgetary allocation for school fees. And children are now not going to, they do not know whether or not they are going to seek the examination because really there's no allocation for the examination.
Yeah. Then let me come back to Nathaniel here because it was his point and his suggestion that things are improving. Yeah. So when you hear this, what do you have to say? By the way, you're not in government. You just happen to advocate for the party. That's right.
I can agree with you, Masika, in regards to, yes, in regards to the people like the MCAs, name them, the members of parliament. And they come with the same old promises right now. People are super woke because they actually know like whatever they're saying is just politics. So they're not going to fulfill whatever they are actually preaching to you about when they're trying to actually get the votes. Yes, at first you're super oblivious because you literally need hope, but the thing for hope right now is gone. People want to see things in action. They don't want fake promises. They don't want you to preach hope, because they have been preaching hope since I actually knew my name, right? And the fact that people are understanding, or they're woke right now, and they've actually read the perpetual terrain of the same words that these politicians use to actually get into the government. And when they get there, nothing changes. They forget about y'all until the next election. They come back with the same songs and praises of doing the same old things which they didn't do. So, yes, I definitely agree with the fact that people, we did put them there when you're actually asking for votes, but not anymore.
Ruling the country right now.
Exactly. So first of all, I would like read from Finance Bill 2024. There was no adequate communication from the part of government in terms of what are the proposals in the Finance Bill 2024. This led to misinformation in some of the proposals and disinformation in some of those proposals.
But let's bring us to the present tense, Nathaniel, because there's been a year since these things should have happened. In the meantime, are they communicating the things that they're doing as is being claimed that they're not, or they're actually not doing anything?
So first of all, I've taken note of what Joshua, my colleague here, said on the panel regarding the issue of the social health insurance. Secondly, the social health insurance initially had a lot of teething problems. Right now, it is working for the inpatient, and we removed the outpatient part of the social health insurance. The inpatient is working smoothly.
Okay, let me come back to Hanifa, because it sounds to me, listening to all of you, that we're back where we were a year ago in terms of the things that you're telling me are wrong with the country. So what did the protests achieve?
I think one of the biggest achievement of the protest were people recognizing their voice. It is draining, of course.
Massacre is saying, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. Sounds right.
But it has showed us the way. I am more patriotic. I am more cautious of things politically. And I am so brave now. We can stand up to anything and anyone.
Okay, brave can stand up to anything and anyone. Joshua, it certainly must not have felt like that for you after the protests when you were mysteriously abducted. Please tell us how that happened.
Yeah, a day after the 25th of June, where we breached Parliament, I received calls from unknown people, and the language was that you are seen somewhere and these guys are coming for you. So wherever you are, leave. And I stayed in their hands for 2 days. But of course, during which time they could come for me in a room where they had thrown me into, beating me and asking me questions with regards to the Finance Bill 2024, and asking me why I was involved in the protest and why I was mobilizing young people to go to the streets.
I definitely agree with you, Masika, in regards to what you're saying. And some of these activists looking really shady lately. Yes, because some of them are using the protest to get their way into the government. So we have to be really, really, really clear on that, and also be alert with some of the activists.
I don't know who told them. I at some point paid for some young people some fare to go to town using a matatu, and how we were financing the printing of T-shirts, banners, and everything that we were using. And I really didn't have any other answer from God knows where that would satisfy them. And so when the answers they needed in their minds were not coming through, then they could beat me and hit me, and that continued intermittently about 4 or 5 times. But ultimately they threw me into some river, about 100 kilometers from the Nairobi where they picked me up. So that was it for me. And I think when I speak about this, it gets very personal for me. And that's...
Yes, I definitely agree with you, Masika, on that. And I actually, in concurrent with your comment, which says, family, you know how the Rothschild play the game, fund both sides, the activists, and the government too. Yes, yes, yes.
So as Anifa said, it has changed me completely. I used to be a very diplomatic, calm, reserved person and all that. But right now, I think...
And in regards to my thoughts, I believe we do have an activist like that, who I believe is actually being funded to play on the card of being an activist, but not he's not really one. If you know, you know.
The street language has got into me very perfectly well, and I think I identify more with the Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote that streets, or rather protest, is the language of the unheard. So that then, if no one is going to implement anything we are speaking about, we are going to go to the street for that to be implemented.
So it's very combative, one might even say confrontational language that we're hearing from Joshua, and one might agree, there's a reason for this. But coming from the Kenya Human Rights Commission, he's not the only one, right? What does the data show about the number of people who were abducted and the number of people who were killed during that time?
Yes, huge numbers. The Missing Voices report that was released a few months ago indicate that that grew by about 145% from 2019 when that documentation started. That is a worrying trend, and particularly the 2024 finance bill protests really resulted in the killings and also enforced disappearances of these people, which is very, very sad. And as we speak about this, I think one of the things that we all need to note is that the Gen Z protest...
And I actually agree that the Gen Zs are really wise, Masika, in regards to the fact that you've mentioned that how the Rothschild actually play, they can or basically do fund both sides, the activists and the government too. And you're also saying that the Gen Z should be alert and wise, definitely, to actually realize that also they do play these games and they will definitely fund the activists, thinking that the activists are basically on our side, which the fact that they're being funded, they're not on our side. I definitely agree with you on that. And also we have to understand that this is our time. If you can all literally feel like it's just time for change, it's time for an awakening, it's time for things to be better, and you cannot escape that feeling if you're literally here in Africa.
It's really led to the rising of youth activism, and that is what we are seeing right now.
All right, let me invite Kelvin. Please join me at the front here. He's wearing the Kenyan flag and a very democratic or patriotic message on his T-shirt, and I'm very surprised because your brother was killed by people who are wearing the same flag. How do you feel about that?
It's feeling dehuman. It's irony because we must protect our country and the government needs to protect its citizen, but the government ends up killing us. When we say things are not well, we end up being killed, silenced.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Brian, your late brother, and what happened to him.
Oh, Brian was a very hardworking person, hardworking boy, was my young brother. So Brian went to the street to demonstrate, to say that the finance bill is not what Kenyans want. He went to the street at around 4:30 because he didn't start the protest early in the morning. In fact, I'm the one who went early to the streets of Narok to demonstrate. Then he came later, but around 30 minutes after, he was shot dead.
Now, when we spoke on the phone as we were preparing for this street debate, I asked you if the police have been in touch, and you told me that the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, has been in touch with you. Did you know that they've listed your brother's name as one of the cases that's already been investigated?
I received a phone call from my aunt that IPOA wants the number of the witness to...
Masika is saying we shouldn't be out here thinking all these activists are down for us. I agree with you. They mostly are down for cash. And that's why we should definitely be alert with some of the activists. We should definitely do that. Also, IPOA, as you're saying, looks weak too, as Masika is saying, because if you actually follow up on what they should be actually be following up, they're not actually following up as they should. I actually agree with you, Masika.
Witness what happened. So the witness has refused to come out to witness, fearing of his life and danger. But also he was offered a job. So you see, the government, it knows what it's doing because he's a witness, then he's given a job so that he can do what he can be silent.
Okay. I just like to let
That's what happens. And mostly if you're a public activist, mostly literally known, or you're the one who's actually steering one of these parties. As I said, there's one who's actually offered a job to be silenced. actually, literally, in regards to what's really happening. I'm sorry, guys, we do have some riots outside our studio literally right now. But we're going to go on a short commercial break as we come back with more news and updates.
Discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store. Fuel your beetroot, nature's power. Beetroot, nature's powerhouse, packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and nitrates, it's known to support heart health, boost stamina, and improve blood circulation. Our beetroot is naturally grown and harvested at peak ripeness. The roots are cleaned, dried, and finely ground to preserve their rich nutritional content, giving you all the benefits in one pure form. Add 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder to your juice, smoothie, or water, or take it in capsule form as recommended by your healthcare provider. Beetroot helps enhance endurance, lower blood pressure, and keep you feeling energized and balanced all day. Fuel your body with the natural power of beetroot. Stay strong, stay healthy. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
$90. Before we move forward with the conversation, there's a video I want to share about what's really happening and people giving their opinions regarding the government of Kenya. But thank you everybody for joining me live on TikTok.
Presidents have we had? We have had 3 presidents so far. He's the 4th president, isn't it? All of those presidents, none of them saw that it was fit to renovate the State House. But because he thinks that the State House is his home, which we are telling him it is not his home, time is up. That's why he keeps on renovating. Time is up. He has had 1 whole year to change. The last time we had protest, he said there's a problem with communication. 1 year later, has he done? 1 year later, they're planning to kill us tomorrow. There was an expose yesterday at KTN. And how are you using our own taxes to come and kill us? Who do you think you are? Is it that you are praying different gods from you? Who do you think? Do you think the country belongs to you? And that is the problem. We are not our parents. And that is where you keep going wrong. We are not our parents. We are people who are educated. We are people who got the education of Kibaki. That's why we are not afraid of him. We have nothing to lose. Kenya has become a place where it's... How many presidents have we had? We have had 3 presidents.
That is so true. Live and direct. Also another video.
Sisi tunataka mahali kuna ngori, sitaki mahali watu wametulia. Sisi tunataka mahali watu wanavurugana. Hebu tuende mahali kuna ngori serious. Hii mahali watu kusimama hivi. We don't want laziness. Ndio hii maji. Anytime from now tutakuwa tunaoga. So but hatuna towel, some of us hatuna sabuni, but anytime from now tutakuwa tunaoga. So guys, I'm excited. Ruja. Amani jilete. Marasi. Tunataka moja. Piga. Ruja, ama risasi. Tuko hapa Supreme Court. Oh, sawa. Hapo tunacheza ball kama hapo. Today we want to close down the chapter till again tomorrow. Same time, same place, same venue, same ambition, same guys.
That's what's happening in regards to the protest that is happening here in the 254 Nairobi, Kenya. Back to the main conversation. as before, or before I share the videos or what's really happening on the ground along Moy Avenue CBD.
Audience know that we did invite the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, but unfortunately they weren't able to make it. But we did speak to them later, and this is what they had to say.
This particular question about Gen Z, we have 60 cases of death reported. Some of the killings were people who were running away and they were shot in the back. Some of the victims. You will see some protests where people are shot in the head. It looks like a targeted attack. And so we feel that there must be a much more better management of the public order and protests by the police. When we hear IPOA say we have completed a case, it means they have taken statements from all involved people, including the police officers who are affected, or who are the ones who did the shooting. And then now we send the file to the DPP. So, I mean, it's up to the DPP to do whatever he needs to do on the prosecution.
Kelvin, by the way, thank you so much for sharing your story. But Wanjera, long before the protests, you've heard about police brutality and incidences working with people on the ground, and evidently nothing's changed or nothing seems to have.
I think it's a very sad reality that the Finance Bill 2024 actually brought out to the fore for all Kenyans to see that extrajudicial killings have been as a reality, especially in the informal settlements of this country that have been ongoing on for years. That every other regime that has come, it's been extrajudicial killings. And 2024 made it a national discussion. Why is it that our police kill the young people of this country? We have documented so many cases with the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. We have gone to court. Not a single case has gotten justice. So we are saying that as young
cases always take a lot of time, like a long years. And we had that conversation in the morning on the reasons why they actually prolong these cases. And actually, we did have the one and only Murkomen, that's the cabinet secretary for security, who actually stated, quotes in quotes, that Kenyans have too much freedom. That's what he said. Kenyans have too much freedom. What do you mean? And the fact that he said they should be major, they should take major takes in regards to how people are expressing themselves, not making it sound like, people are literally fighting for what's right. And also, it's super double-sided. It's a double-sided mentality, because how many of this individual do we know actually get away with a lot of dire, hideous things that they do? I can't even mention it here. But when it comes to us actually standing for what's right, these are literally fundamental truths that we are actually fighting for. The rights of the people. Talk about abduction. People getting scraped up without a trace of how the case will, without justice, let me say that. But the fact that he said we have too much freedom, we don't actually have any freedom here, right? We do have Masika saying they are stalling, right? Rarely seldom with these families see justice. Thank you. They definitely do that. They don't actually follow up with these cases. They take years. We hear them actually preaching promises and giving up promises which are never literally followed up. Also, Masika is saying, I don't even blame Murkomen. He takes orders, don't he? Yes, he does, but also he's part of the government. The fact that he's agreeing and actually a part of this government is also a problem. You can always say no. Also, who does the backup stop with? We actually do know. But you can always say no. You can always stand for what's right without bending, right? But as we move forward with other news and updates in regards to what's happening in Nairobi. We do have Kilifi County, Kiambu Town, also Mombasa, Kenya Central Police Station, Nairobi. Before we go back to the main conversation, I will definitely share the videos, short videos, as we get to the main videos of what's really happening right now at the Nairobi CBD. It was really super peaceful in the morning. Mombasa, or people in Mombasa were actually part of the protest. That's what's happening in Mombasa. Also, Kiambu Town. Everywhere. Although they were actually blocking the roads at Jogo Road, but also people said they'll still will definitely head to town. They'll head to the CBD regardless, as you call it. Also, the situation in Mombasa, I've literally shared that. And also, we see the situation at the Central Police Station, Nairobi. Yes, General Mosquito, how are you doing? Would you like some tea this beautiful afternoon? Yes, Mombasa town. Yes, they decided to join us at last. I believe they're actually gathering at the Central Police Station in Nairobi because they understand what really happened with the case of the late Albert Ojwang. We know what really happened, and that's why they gathered at the Central Police Station. Kitengela also the situation going there right away. And also, I'm gonna share a video before I share the video of what's really happening at Nairobi CBD. The former Chief Justice David Maraga, who was part of the protest this very day. That's Maraga over there, who was part of the protest. We do have also, as I mentioned earlier, Babu Owino, who joins Nairobi protest. People literally like this man, right? Masika is saying, there you go. Rarely will this man say no when the cake is so big. Cheddar makes people cocky. I definitely agree with you, Masika. Thank you again for the gift, and thank you for actually being a guest here with me on live on TikTok. Thank you. Join us for actually joining me, Giovanni, Dirk, number one, and everybody who's literally staying up with me right away. I can see Lil Love, how you doing? Thank you for joining me here on Let's Swap with Everton, always talking about redefining Africa as we redefine ourselves. Yes, that was all happening when Babu joined the project. And as I said earlier, we do have the Communication Authority that has ordered all TV and radio stations to halt coverage of the ongoing June 25th anniversary protest. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Because if they're actually ordering all the TVs and radio station to halt coverage, there's something they don't want the world to know. Also, maybe what do they really want to do? But really, I'm so grateful because we do have a lot of people who are actually part of this practice who actually carried their devices to take coverage of what's really going down there at the Nairobi CBD, Nairobi, Kenya. I will definitely share a video right away, right now, of what's really happening on the ground of the Nairobi, Kenya, right away. Before we move forward, thank you for everybody for joining me right away. My name is Yurton Longoria.
Don't kill our children! Don't kill our children! I'm tired of this country.
Okay, that's just a theme of what's really happening. But right now, Nairobi Live, we do have thousands who basically rallied in Kenya to mark the anniversary of June 25th and also the finance bill that happened last year. That's literally the situation at the Nairobi CBD. We do have Masika actually giving up his comments. He's saying they are taking the tactic from Israel. Remember how Israel blew up the national TV station of the Iranians? Stop the flow of information. I definitely agree with you. And thank you for amazing comments right there, Masika. That's actually at Huduma Center. That's the situation at the Nairobi CBD. People are still in the street actually protesting and basically remembering our sheroes and heroes regarding the 2024 finance bill, which actually marks a year right now of what really happened. Another conversation before we wind up is our African cultures being erased by globalization. As I explained that earlier, I can say if you understand everything to do with the African identity, if you understand everything to do with civilization and where it originated from, if you understand our cultures and traditions and the power of melanin, of who we are, it shouldn't affect our cultures and traditions, because the main thing of what the Europeans have all been trying to do is actually invade Africa. But also they want Africa without Africans because they've stolen our cultures, traditions, everything that we came up with. They've taken that to be a part of what defines who they are, which is not it. And it's so sad because they don't have a history, they don't have a culture, they don't have an identity. Whatever we think is what defines them is what they actually stole from the African identity, actually, the African heritage. Let's listen to this. video in regards to a question that I asked earlier. Are African cultures being erased by globalization? And globalization comes back to the African identity, culture, and the fact that civilization started from Africa.
This week on the 77% Street Debate.
We are speaking about the impact of westernization towards our daily lives as Ugandans.
We keep seeing that culture is dying, culture is dying. It's Africans who are eroding their own culture.
I was punished twice for speaking my local language. You know, those days they would put a dress on you, a badge on you to indicate that you were found speaking a local language in a compound. There have been efforts to decampaign African languages and local language.
That is so true. The fact that it's nice to learn other languages, like it's a good thing, but also they've been trying to erode our dialects, our African dialects. We do have Masika saying, casing the point, Trump wants Congo's minerals at all costs, but he's trying to paint a picture like he's a peacemaker. It's the game they actually play, but we definitely understand what's really happening.
Languages in particular, we're having this conversation in English for starters, and one fiber of culture is language. If we are having this conversation in English, what are we still trying to defend?
We've been having a talk that a woman is not supposed to eat chicken and eggs.
Right. Okay. Let's settle this chicken situation once and for all.
Why?
Ugandans here, and I want to start with Kia because when we had a conversation earlier, you said something very interesting about what you think the role of culture is in society. So, in your family, what role does culture play?
It plays a role when it comes to discipline, when it comes to morals, when it comes to way of behavior. So culture to get rooted into the young people, it has to begin from home. For example, me, I'm Alani by tribe.
I actually agree with that. It starts from the household. She talks about behavior, the way we live our lifestyle. It has to start from the household, but also some parents actually have not grown in a household like that where our true African cultures and traditions are taught. The way of behavior is actually in growing and actually, let me talk about dialects. Communicating in our own languages, true African languages. You can see in a lot of households, a lot of individuals are not brought up with that, and that's how our heritage or our original languages are actually fading away, which is not a good thing.
Now, from Kasese, from Western Uganda, my mom is from the East. So when you get to see that whole combination, you think, I'll not know my mother language. Yes, I know Langi. I can speak Langi fluent. When I'm in Northern Uganda, I can speak the language. But why am I able to do all this? Because my father taught me from day one. If you greet again Langi Itienimo and you reply him, I'm fine, you're going to get a smack on your head. So if you're speaking of society and the cultural leaders are speaking of them, the issue being with young people, the issue is actually with them.
Okay, so before we address the issue in totality, I just want to understand, because not everybody lives in a cultural home. So what does that look like for you? Is that when you're having birthdays? Is it when there's marriages? When do you really feel this culture?
Culture is actually felt during traditional ceremonies. That is during Emikolo, what they call Emikolo among the Baganda, the traditional marriage. So the only time I would know that Agomesi exists properly is when there's a traditional marriage. And then these elders who tell us to dress like...
Not really, Masika, not at all. A lot of individuals in Uganda have their own dialect, because the fact that you're saying, is it English the national lingo in Uganda? Yes and no, because also we do have a lot of Ugandans who speak in their own dialect.
Traditional wear, and that they're actually dressed in that traditional wear. Now that means that we are only shown and we are made to believe that culture should only be to be portrayed during traditional ceremonies, right? If you come dressed in your skinny pants, I will actually send you away, but you cannot tell me to come for a grand party and you expect me come dressed in Agomesi. What are you trying to tell me? Because that's what society has shown us.
Agomesi is the traditional
It is a
Ugandan
traditional
regalia.
Ugandan.
All right, so let's move to Faith here for a little bit, because you You come from an extremely traditional home, and what Kia is talking about here is not new for you, right? But you have a very different interpretation of it. Tell us a little bit about that.
My grandmother would wear her gomesi every time. It felt like it was the only dress she knew. And then I had a great grandmother who would do the exact same thing. My mother wears her gomesi to
But
almost.
first of all, you have to understand the meaning of culture. I can say, from my perspective or understanding what culture really means, I believe these are maybe ideas, customs also, and social behaviors over particular people or society. I can say these are ideas, customs, or social behaviors of a particular people or society. That's how we go back to the African identity. How was or how or what defines, what does it mean by African social behavior, our customs, our ideas about everything that surrounds us, and also people, how to live with people. Talk about Ubuntu, right? We do have that. So it goes back to ideas, custom, and social behaviors of a particular people or society.
Almost every function she's been invited to. I've grown up in a home that's very, very traditional. You have to kneel when you greet, you have to kneel when you serve, you have to do certain things the way they are meant to do. Your clothes are supposed to be a certain height, you're supposed to speak your language, you're supposed to, it's so cultural to a point that there are even gender roles attached to men and women because of culture. You know, culturally, a man is like a god. We see him as he's up there. And so if I'm talking to a man, I'm going to be kneeling. There are particular parts of the chicken that only the man eats. And as a woman, you shouldn't eat.
Okay, that's a lot though. That's a lot.
Them. And also, well, growing up, I used to see my grandmother refuse to partake of chicken because you know it's meant for the men.
No, we scrape that off. No, not really.
But then growing up, I feel like I don't want to do all that.
I'm glad she actually had her own mindset in regards to how things were done, because it actually doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow, wow, whoa. Gabriel.
It's not right to misinform. You know, we are a cultural society that is culturally stranded because of.
As we're almost coming to the end of the show, family, I really appreciate Masika. Thank you for actually staying up with me. Minor Patrick, I did have lots of people with me staying up with me today. Thank you for joining me here on Let's Talk with Everton on the Black Hot Fan Radio Network, media of the 21st century, a Pan-Africanist radio station. And the fact that we do have the Communication Authority that has ordered all radio stations and TV to actually not showcase what's really happening. We are actually here reporting about everything and talking about the fact that our African identity and culture should definitely be a perpetual norm.
Of the political question. We are not Ugandans by choice. We are Ugandans just by the virtue of colonialism. We are brought together.
I love the fact that he said that literally. But we'll be winding up with that to beautiful Wednesday. And the conversation of the day has been June 25th aftermath in regards to the anniversary of what happened last year during 2024, celebrating our heroes and sheroes, and also giving us the motivation and the drive to keep on fighting and taking back power to redefine Africa as we redefine ourselves. And also we talked about the fact that is a question of did the African culture, is it being erased by globalization? And I came to a conclusion that everything to do with globalization, if you think about it, it sums down to everything that Africa was. Civilization started from Africa. Maybe talking about some things which actually makes you question, makes you think twice in regards to how we communicate, talk about Ubuntu, talk about how our way of spirituality, right? Our connection to God and our way of living, our social behavior. But also we talked about the fact that are we still communicating, or is also globalization or westernization erasing our African languages? Please stay up with me because I'll definitely continue this conversation on the next show on Let's Pop with Ewerton. That's Friday, same time, same place. Remember, you can download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackhotfireradionetwork.com, for amazing healthy supplements, apparel clothing with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on it. I'm sending you so much love and light. As you know, you are the change you need to see in the world as I share some of the supplements we do have on our website.
Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
That can blow this country to pieces. This is Hendrix sound. Na walosema jana iwezifika leo, tuko ground tunasoza, ajiji kumewaka sana.
Have a magical afternoon, family. Live on TikTok. Have a great one. Sending you so much love and light. Remember, you are the change you need to see in the world. It's me, your host, Ibriton Gongorian. Much love. Take care.
Na walosema jana iwezifika leo, tuko ground tunasoza. Hakuna mboga, peleke shuleni watasoma, madaktari wamegoma, hapa sasa Yesu atakuponya. Wamechoka sana, wanasema tutapatikana.
You're now listening to the best music. Feel the freshness of the hottest tracks and coolest mashups of the moment.
Independent 60 years, tuliambiwa ni self-rule, billions on billions, tunaibiwa na the same groups, tunalipa madeni, hizo ndio ma-excuse, ini generation Z, tuwezi make the same moves.